Hi, everyone. So, I wanted to talk for just a minute about accessing information. That's a larger piece called information literacy, and it's a really critical part of being an educated person. In my classes, I talk about that's my uh, addiction. Yes, look at that. So I live in Oregon, so I collect the cans, and I just haven't recollected them recently. Anyway, so part of my job as an educator, as a college professor, is not only just giving you information, right, or giving students information. Um, and as a content creator, I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook. You know, Also part of putting information out into the world is not just putting the content out. At least that's what I think. It's also putting out how to access information and how to evaluate even the information that I'm giving you, right? So that's all called under the umbrella information literacy. So there's a bunch of these different types of literacies. There's physical literacy, there's media literacy, and they're based on the idea of being literate in that skill set, right? Not specifically about being able to read. We're using the word much more broadly to be literate in um, the genre of information, right? This is literally what library science is mostly about, is about information literacy. Librarians specialize in how to access information, what is information, um, how to categorize information, and how to make it then accessible to you, right, to the public. So one of the things that I see my students struggling with is I give them a book, give them a citation. They've got to go to the bookstore um, to get the book, but sometimes they can't afford the book, right? They can't afford the book. It happens. We live in a capitalistic world, in a society in which, um, you know, higher education specifically is considered a luxury. And if you don't have the money, you just suck, right? Too bad, so sad. So, how do you get around that in order to get the information that you need? Right? And there's lots of different loopholes in this system of capitalism to access information. And when every time I mention these different levels of accessibility, every term I get surprise students because they've never thought about how to access materials other than literally being handed the material, right? So, number one is, your college bookstore, right? Going in and finding out what material is required for the course, right? Nowadays, we're also doing a lot of inclusive access. So, doing digital copies of the book that are posted sort of seamlessly into your learning management system. So, it's very easy within the course shell of the website. You can click on a link and there's your textbook, right? Um, Not all um, of even my classes have inclusive access for a number of different reasons. But if you can't afford the textbook and there's no inclusive access built into your class, how do you access the textbook? Don't ignore the fact that you can't access the textbook or you can't access the reading materials or whatever materials are required for the course. Don't just ignore that fact. You've got to work around that fact, right? That you can't afford it, right? Can, stick with me here. So, one of the things you want to do is think about other avenues that we have within our system for accessing information. The number one access is your local library. Okay. Either on campus if you're a college student, or just your county library, your city library. Walk in and tell your librarian, I need access to this book, to this magazine, to this TV show, this movie, whatever the media is, and they will be able to get you access. Either they'll have it available actually physically in their own library, they might have it as a digital copy within their library system. They might have access to that book within the larger library system that they belong to. And then if they really can't find access through all of those methods, they can do something called an interlibrary loan. And this seems to be something, a concept that is not being taught in high schools because for years and years and years now, I have mentioned this to freshmen coming to my survey classes, and they're flabbergasted. They've never heard of this. Interlibrary loan is a system that libraries have that they can log in and they can see other libraries around the country and around the world that have agreed to put certain materials, certain parts of their catalog available for interlibrary loan. And that means that the library is then known to this other library, and they will make that request. And this library from thousands of miles away will literally put that book in the mail to the other library. And then you come and check it out from your local library. I check out books from the University of Chicago all the time because of my particular genre of research interest. The University of Chicago has never let me down in trying to access published material. And so, I mean, they've got to know me by name by now. Oh yeah, she just moved. Oh look, because I get new jobs around the country. So you can do an interlibrary loan if you cannot access the materials actually physically at your library. Another option is just walking into your local bookstore. So your local used bookstore. I mean, if you don't have a Barnes and Noble, if you don't have, Pages for All Ages, look up your used bookstore in town, right? A lot of times, depending on the type of book it is, they may not carry textbooks per se, but a lot of times the book that you're trying to get a hold of, the movie that you're trying to get a hold of, is something that they're willing to buy right through their system and then sell to you, right? If you want to pay them money for it, more than likely they're going to try to access it for you. Another option is Amazon. Amazon is renting textbooks out now. A lot of, the supplemental materials, ethnographies, stuff like that. They will also rent out to you so that it's cheaper for you if you don't want to actually buy it outright. But you can also rent out movies, right? So if you need to access a movie for your class or a TV show, I show a lot of TV shows in class. I teach anthropology. It's relatively cheap through Amazon. Cheapbooks.com, textbooks.com, half.com. There's a lot of online bookshops that are selling books as cheaply as they can because they know that they are reaching a market of students that don't have a lot of money. Another just option that's out there is Amazon again. When you find the book on Amazon, the little icon that has the picture of the book, oftentimes right above that it says look inside, right? It has a little arrow pointing back to the text, to the cover of the book. And you click on the cover of the book, and they've given you, depending on the publisher and the author, whatever they wanted to do, certain amount of sample of the book for free. So in this situation, you might get 3 chapters of the book for free, because they want you to buy the book. So they want you to see, what it is and what it's all about. I mean, you might only get a chapter, but heck, at least it gets you a start, right? On trying to access this material. So I hope that helps. Leave a comment. Let me know if there's anything else in terms of information that you want help with, accessing information, where to go to get the information that you need.